This time of year, I am always trying to find new ways to enjoy some of the produce that's available. So today on Jay's Will Kitchen, I'm going to show you how to do a stuffed squash dinner that is super easy and super tasty. And today I'm using an acorn squash that I have picked up at the market. Unfortunately not grown in my garden, but hopefully soon. But you can use any kind of squash for this recipe or a similar recipe, and the wonderful thing about this is it's completely versatile and completely adjustable to suit your tastes. Now again, just to show you, we're going to cut this acorn squash in half along the diagonal, and again, it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be an acorn squash, it could be whatever squash you have available. And we're simply going to break through that outer shell and then slice down and cut the other way. And cut it into two halves just like that. And of course, then we're going to scoop out the seeds. And when our seeds are out, we're just going to pop those onto a parchment-lined baking sheet like this. And we're going to set that aside and preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And now in a frying pan such as this, we're going to add in some oil. I'm just using olive oil. Really doesn't matter what oil you use. And let that heat to a medium heat. And now once your oil has warmed up, we're going to throw in one small onion. That's all I'm using here. And we're just going to let that fry up until it's nice and fragrant and they're starting to go a little bit translucent. And now into that I'm going to add 1 pound roughly of ground beef. And we want to fry that up until it is quite browned all the way through. Now if you're enjoying this video, please go ahead and hit that like button. It really does help YouTube to recommend my content to viewers such as yourself. And at this stage, we're just going to add a hefty pinch of salt to give that some flavor and a little bit of ground black pepper. And it's almost completely browned. So now we're going to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of ground coriander. And as you can see, our ground beef is now pretty much cooked all the way through. We're going to add in a table of Worcestershire sauce. Stir that through. And if you're like me, you do like to sort of bulk up your meat sauces with quite a lot of veg. And I know we're going to be putting this into squash, but I really do like to add in some veg here. And unfortunately, it's that time of year where most of the vegetables are frozen. And so I'm just using a mixed frozen vegetable here, and I'm using 1 cup of that just to bulk this up and add some nutrition to it. And now we're going to add most of 2 cups of a beef stock to this. And as you can see, I'm not quite using the full 2 cups here. We're going to just let that all come to a boil for a little bit and just simmer down. Now once you've allowed this to simmer for just a little bit like this, you will notice that it is quite watery in there. That's okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to add in a mixture of 2 teaspoons of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of cold water, which we've mixed really well. We've got to make sure that the sauce is actually boiling, and we're just going to pour that in and then give it a good stir. And you will see that this will start to thicken almost right away. Now the nice thing about doing the cornstarch mixture is, of course, it doesn't detract from the flavor and it doesn't alter the flavor like flour would, for example. And we don't need this to get very thick. That's about it. We can turn the heat off now. And now we're going to put some of this sauce right into our squash, just in the center, like that. And of course, then my favorite part, we're going to top that with some grated cheddar cheese. And finally, a little sprinkle of ground black pepper again. And now we're going to pop those into our 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for approximately 30 to 40 minutes, or until all of that squash is nice and tender. Now, if you're enjoying this video and you'd like to see some more of my content, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on the notifications so that you know when my next video drops. Now, I have to tell you that this smells really, really good, and I'm quite excited. I will confess that this sat in the oven for about 45 minutes, just until the squash was nice and tender to a fork. The smell is just absolutely incredible. The cheese is sort of becoming a nice sort of crust on the top there, so I'm really looking forward to trying some of this. That is absolutely delicious. The squash is beautifully tender and quite creamy tasting. I really do like the ground beef, the sort of beefy flavor, but there's that subtle hint of pepper and coriander in there. And of course, that nice sharp cheddar on top really does help bring out all the flavors. And I do love the sort of crunchy, well-cooked cheese on the top there. You have to try this. And if you do, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below how this turned out for you. I'd like to take a moment just to say a special thank you to all of my supporters on Patreon. Without their financial support, this channel would absolutely not be possible. If you'd like to find out more about Patreon and how you can help support this channel from as little as $5 a month, please click on the Patreon link down below in the comments section. Now, if you'd like to follow me on all of my social media, those links are down below in the comments section as well. If you'd like to try some more of my main meal ideas, you can click on this playlist right here. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy eating.